He sits on the edge of his bed, the dim glow of his phone lighting up his face. The room is silent, but inside his head, there's chaos. He has sent 3 messages already, long paragraphs, desperate explanations, apologies for things he didn't even do. And now, he's staring at the screen, waiting for the 3 dots that never appear. Every second feels like an eternity. He picks up the phone again, scrolls through old conversations, and wonders what went wrong. This is the picture of modern desperation, the silent begging for love that turns men into prisoners of their own emotions. The more he reaches, the further it slips away. That's the law of life. Love, like a butterfly, cannot be chased. The harder you grasp, the quicker it escapes. You see, when you beg for love, you don't just lose the person. You lose yourself. You hand over your dignity, your confidence, your power, all in exchange for a temporary illusion of security. But what happens when that security never comes? What happens when your worth depends on the approval of someone else? You become a shadow of yourself, and shadows are never attractive. The truth is harsh, but it must be said. The more you beg for love, the more it escapes you. Love is not meant to be forced. It's not meant to be a transaction where you give everything and hope for scraps in return. Real love flows freely, naturally, without pressure, without desperation. The moment you start trying to control it, you kill it. Look at nature. Rivers don't beg to flow, they simply move. Flowers don't beg the sun to shine, they just bloom. Everything natural is effortless, yet we humans try to bend love into submission. We chase, we cling, we plead, and in the process, we lose what makes us worthy of love in the first place. Our independence, our self-respect, our peace. The man on the bed doesn't see it, but every message he sends lowers his value in her eyes. Not because she is cruel, but because human nature does not reward desperation. When you beg, you place yourself beneath someone else. You tell them, I need you to be complete. And nothing repels love faster than neediness. Think about it. When has begging ever brought real respect? When has pleading ever created genuine affection? It never does. At best, it buys you pity. At worst, it earns you contempt. Because love thrives in freedom, not in chains. The person you chase feels trapped, and no one falls deeper in love when they feel trapped. The most tragic part? The man begging for love thinks he's fighting for something beautiful. He believes his persistence is proof of devotion. But what he calls devotion is actually fear. The fear of being alone, the fear of not being enough. And fear never creates love. Fear only creates weakness. So why does this happen? Why do so many people fall into this trap? Because they were never taught the truth. Love is not earned by begging. It's invited by strength. It comes when you are whole, when you don't need anyone to validate your worth. That's when love becomes magnetic. That's when it flows naturally. Picture 2 people. One spends his nights sending long texts, explaining, apologizing, convincing. The other is calm, focused on his purpose, improving himself, living with confidence. Which one do you think attracts real love? It's never the one who begs. It's the one who stands tall, even when he stands alone. But society doesn't tell you this. Movies, songs, social media, they glorify chasing, they romanticize obsession. They tell you that if you fight hard enough, if you don't give up, you'll win love. But reality is not a movie. In real life, obsession pushes love away. Desperation suffocates it. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. If you have to beg for it, it was never real to begin with. Real love doesn't require you to lose yourself. It doesn't demand you to sacrifice your dignity. If it does, it's not love, it's dependency. And dependency is a slow death. Imagine this. The man finally puts his phone down. He looks around his room. The silence feels heavy. But then, something shifts. He takes a deep breath. For the first time, he realizes the truth. He doesn't need to beg. He doesn't need to chase. If this person truly cared, they wouldn't need convincing. If this person truly valued him, they would show up without being dragged. That moment, that realization, is freedom. Because the opposite of begging is not indifference, it's self-respect. It's understanding that love cannot be demanded. It can only be given freely, and if it's not, you walk away. Not because you don't care, but because you care about yourself too much to settle for less. You see, love that is begged for is never love worth having. Real love doesn't need you to sacrifice your pride. It needs you to stand in your truth, to be whole on your own. And when you are whole, you don't attract love through fear. You attract it through abundance. People are drawn to those who don't need them, but choose them. That's real strength. So ask yourself this: are you begging for love? Are you lowering your standards just to feel wanted? If you are, stop. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Stop now. Because every moment you beg, you tell the world that you are not enough. And you are enough. You always were. You just forgot. From this moment on, make a vow: never beg for love. Never hand over your worth for crumbs of attention. Love yourself first, so deeply, so completely, that anyone who comes into your life must rise to meet your standard, not drag you down to theirs. Because the truth is simple: when you stop chasing love, you make room for it to find you. And when it does, it will be real. It will be free. It will be natural. And that kind of love is worth waiting for. There is a simple truth that most people refuse to see. Begging for love doesn't bring you closer to someone. It pushes them away. In fact, nothing kills attraction faster than desperation. When you overgive, when you overchase, when you bend over backward trying to prove your worth, you don't appear more lovable. You appear weak. And weakness is never attractive. Picture this: a man constantly texting, showering someone with compliments, rearranging his entire life just to please them. He thinks he's showing commitment, but what he's really showing is neediness. Every time he prioritizes them over himself, every time he sacrifices his boundaries just to keep them around, he communicates one thing: I'm not enough as I am, so I have to overcompensate. And that kills respect instantly. Because respect is the foundation of attraction. You can admire someone's looks, you can enjoy their presence, but true attraction requires respect. The moment you become desperate, the moment you show you'll do anything just to stay in their life, respect disappears. And without respect, love cannot survive. Here's the problem: most people mistake begging for love as dedication. They think, if I just show them how much I care, they'll stay. If I just try harder, they'll love me back. But the truth is brutal: love is never earned through begging. It's never created by convincing. You cannot force someone to feel what they don't feel. You cannot manipulate attraction with neediness. The harder you try, the more you destroy the natural spark that might have existed. Why? Because begging flips the balance of power. In any relationship, there's an unspoken balance of value. Two individuals meeting as equals, choosing each other freely. When you start begging, you destroy that balance. You make the other person the prize and reduce yourself to a chaser. You become someone who needs them more than they need you. And in that moment, attraction dies. Think about the people you respect most in life. Are they the ones who cling, who beg, who compromise themselves just to be liked? Or are they the ones who stand firm in their values, who know their worth, who never chase approval? Respect flows to those who respect themselves. It evaporates from those who don't. Desperation is the opposite of confidence. And confidence is the heartbeat of attraction. When you beg, you're telling the other person, I have no options. I have no strength. I have no identity outside of you. That doesn't make them want you. It makes them pity you. And pity is poison to love. What's worse is that begging doesn't just hurt how others see you. It destroys how you see yourself. Every time you beg, you reinforce the belief that you are not enough on your own. You start to live in a state of scarcity, thinking love is something you have to fight for, something you have to earn by bending and breaking yourself. But real love is not earned. It's given freely. The moment it needs to be begged for, it's no longer love. It's control. It's dependency. It's a power imbalance that will leave you broken. The irony? The people who are most desperate for love are often the ones who push it away the fastest. Because neediness suffocates. When you cling too tightly, you make the other person feel trapped. You rob them of the freedom that love requires. And no one falls deeper in love when they feel trapped. They pull away. They create distance. They start to see you not as a partner, but as a burden. Begging doesn't just kill attraction. It kills the very foundation of a healthy relationship. Why? Because a healthy relationship is built on choice. Two people choosing each other freely, without force, without pressure. When you beg, you take away that freedom. You try to manipulate choice with guilt, with constant validation seeking. And in doing so, you poison the relationship from the inside out. The truth is, begging for love is a symptom of something deeper, a lack of self-respect. When you value yourself, You don't beg for what isn't freely given. You don't chase someone who doesn't choose you. You understand that your worth isn't dependent on anyone else's approval. That is strength. That is power. And that is what creates real attraction. Look at the most magnetic people, the ones who draw others effortlessly. Do they chase? Do they beg? No, they live with purpose. They set boundaries. They know they are whole on their own. And because they don't need love, love comes to them naturally. People are drawn to strength, to independence, to self-respect. They are repelled by neediness, by desperation, by weakness. If you have to beg, you've already lost. If you have to convince someone to stay, they were never truly yours. And if someone only stays because you beg them to, you haven't won love. You've trapped someone in obligation. That's not romance. That's misery waiting to happen. So why do people beg? Because they fear loss. They fear being alone. They fear rejection. But here's the reality. Begging never prevents loss. It only delays it, and when the end comes, it hurts even more because you gave up your dignity along the way. Far better to walk away with self-respect than to stay by crawling on your knees. Real love starts with self-love. And self-love means this. If you want to be in my life, you're welcome. If you don't, that's fine too. My worth doesn't depend on you. That mindset doesn't make you cold. It makes you free. And freedom is attractive. Strength is attractive. Independence is attractive. So remember this truth. Begging for love is the fastest way to destroy it. Not because people are cruel, but because love cannot survive where there is no respect. And respect cannot exist where there is no self-respect. If you want love that lasts, stop begging. Stop chasing. Start building yourself. Start loving yourself. Start living in a way that says, I don't need you. I choose you. That is where real connection begins. Because at the end of the day, love is not about holding someone tied out of fear. It's about standing strong, open-handed, knowing that if they stay, it's because they want to, not because you beg them to. And that kind of love, that's the only love worth having. Before you can truly love anyone else or expect someone to love you deeply, you must first learn to love yourself. Not in a shallow, ego-driven way, but in the most profound sense, through self-respect, self-mastery, and self-investment. The truth is harsh, but undeniable. The love you crave from others will never fill the emptiness inside you if you do not build it within yourself first. Imagine a person who constantly seeks validation. They rely on compliments to feel beautiful, on attention to feel important, on relationships to feel whole. This person is not free. They are a prisoner of approval. Every time someone ignores them or criticizes them, their entire sense of worth shatters. This is what happens when you outsource love. You give others the power to define your value. And once you do that, you no longer belong to yourself. Real love, the kind that lasts, the kind that strengthens rather than weakens, begins with ownership of your own life. It begins with mastery over your impulses, your fears, your insecurities. That's why the Stoic truth still echoes across centuries. No man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom comes when you no longer need external validation to feel whole. When you are enough without applause, without attention, without anyone saying, I love you, then you are truly free. And ironically, that is when love flows toward you naturally. Loving yourself first doesn't mean arrogance. It doesn't mean thinking you're better than everyone else. It means you build a life so rich with purpose and strength that whether someone loves you or not, you stand firm. It means you cultivate habits, values, and goals that give your life meaning beyond any relationship. When you do this, love stops being something you chase. It becomes something you attract. Think of your body. If you neglect it, eat poorly, avoid exercise, ignore your health, you are telling yourself that you don't matter. You're telling yourself that your comfort is more important than your potential. But when you choose discipline, when you take care of your body, when you wake up early to train and fuel yourself with the right food, you are sending a powerful message to yourself and the world. I respect myself. And respect is the foundation of all love. Now think of your mind. If you fill it with endless distractions, if you waste hours scrolling, binge-watching, numbing yourself with cheap dopamine, you are neglecting the most important part of who you are. But when you invest in learning, when you read, when you reflect, when you sit in silence and strengthen your mind through meditation and focus, you are building self-respect. And once again, that respect radiates outward. People can feel it. They are drawn to it, not because you begged, but because you have something rare: self-control. Self-love is not about pleasure. It's about discipline, because pleasure without discipline is slavery. When you live for instant gratification, you are chained to your impulses. You are not free. You are a servant to desire. But when you master yourself, when you can say no to what weakens you and yes to what strengthens you, you are free. And freedom is magnetic. People sense when someone lives by choice rather than by compulsion. That kind of strength is impossible to fake and impossible to resist. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. The person you are when no one is watching is the person you bring to every relationship. If you are empty, no relationship will fill you. If you are weak, no partner will make you strong. If you don't love yourself, no amount of love from someone else will fix that void. It will only cover it for a while, and then the cracks will show again. That's why so many relationships fail. People expect love to save them instead of saving themselves first. Loving yourself first means creating standards for your life and refusing to break them for anyone. It means knowing what you stand for, what you deserve, and what you will never tolerate. It means you are willing to walk away from anyone who disrespects you, no matter how much you like them, because you value yourself too much to settle for less. That strength makes you unshakable, and that unshakable confidence is what draws people to you. Think about this. Why do we admire people who are disciplined, ambitious, and self-driven? Because they radiate strength. They don't need anyone to validate them. They validate themselves through action. They are not empty vessels looking to be filled. They are complete. And because they are complete, they can give love without clinging. They can share without fear. They can care without becoming dependent. That is real power. When you love yourself, you stop begging. You stop chasing. You stop compromising your dignity just to keep someone in your life. Because you know this, anyone who doesn't see your worth is not your loss. Anyone who walks away leaves space for someone better or for a stronger, wiser you. That perspective changes everything. Instead of thinking, why didn't they choose me? You think, why would I want someone who doesn't appreciate what I offer? This mindset doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from wholeness. Self-love also changes the way you handle loneliness. Weak people fear being alone because they don't like themselves. They need constant distraction to avoid facing their own emptiness. Strong people? They use solitude as a weapon. They read, they build, they reflect, they sharpen their minds. They become dangerous in the best way. Because when you can stand alone, you are unstoppable. No rejection can break you. No loss can destroy you. The person who loves themselves first doesn't play games. They don't manipulate. They don't fake confidence. They live it. They know that love should add to their life, not complete it. They know that no relationship is worth losing themselves over. And that clarity makes them irresistible, not to everyone, but to the right people. Because the right people are drawn to strength. If you want to stop begging for love, start by building a life that doesn't need it to feel meaningful. Find your purpose. Train your body. Sharpen your mind. Set goals that excite you. Learn skills that make you valuable. Surround yourself with people who elevate you, not drain you. And most importantly, keep your word to yourself. Every time you promise yourself something, wake up early, go to the gym, finish that project, and you keep that promise, your self-respect grows. And when your self-respect grows, your need for external validation shrinks. That's the ultimate paradox. When you no longer need love, love finds you. When you stop chasing, it starts chasing you. Because confidence is rare and strength is magnetic. People crave the presence of someone who doesn't need them, but chooses them anyway. That choice means everything. So remember this. Love yourself first. Not because it sounds good, not because it's a trend, but because it's the foundation of everything else. Without it, you will beg. You will settle. You will suffer. With it, you will attract, not by force, but by nature. And when that love comes, it will be stronger, healthier, freer than anything you ever imagined. You are not what someone else says you are. You are what you prove to yourself every single day. Prove strength. Prove discipline. Prove worth. And then watch as the love you used to beg for walks toward you on its own. Because no man is free who is not master of himself. And freedom, not desperation, is where love truly begins. There is a power so rare, so magnetic, that most people never experience it. The power of walking away. In a world where desperation is common, where people cling to what hurts them, where they stay in relationships that drain their soul out of fear of being alone. The ability to calmly walk away is a sign of strength, and strength is what attracts everything good in life, including love. Walking away does not mean running from love. It does not mean avoiding commitment. It means knowing your worth so deeply that you refuse to settle for less than respect, peace, and alignment with your values. It means you are so rooted in who you are that no person, no relationship, no situation can shake that foundation. When you reach that level of self-respect, you become unshakable, and that unshakable energy is irresistible. Why does walking away show strength? Because it requires courage. Anyone can cling. Anyone can beg. Anyone can compromise their dignity to keep someone in their life. That is easy. What's hard is letting go when every emotion in your body screams to stay. What's hard is saying, I love you, but I love myself more. That decision is not weakness. It is power. It is freedom. It is proof that you are not controlled by fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of losing what you think you need. You are controlled by principle. And people respect principle far more than they respect desperation. When you walk away, you are sending a clear message. I am not afraid to be without you, because I am complete on my own. That message changes everything. It shifts the dynamic. Because the moment someone senses you cannot leave, they lose respect. They know they can treat you however they want, and you will stay. That's when love dies and power is lost. But when someone knows you can leave at any time, that your self-worth is not tied to their approval, that your happiness does not depend on their presence, they treat you differently. They admire you. They respect you. And respect is the foundation of love. Walking away is not about playing games. It's not manipulation. It's not make them chase you. It's about living by a simple truth. You will never beg for what should come naturally. Love, attention, care, these are not things you force or demand. They are gifts given freely. And if someone cannot give them without you pleading, then it's not love. It's control. It's ego. It's dependence. And you deserve better than that. Think about this. What kind of person do you admire? The one who clings, who tolerates disrespect just to avoid being alone? Or the one who knows their value so well that they will not stay where they are not valued? The second person radiates power. They don't need anyone. They choose. And that choice makes them rare. Rarity creates value. People want what is rare. People want what is strong. This is why walking away increases attraction. Because strength is magnetic. But walking away is not only about attraction. It's about peace. It's about freedom. When you leave what drains you, what disrespects you, what no longer serves your growth, you create space for something better, whether that's a new relationship or simply a stronger version of yourself. Most people never find this strength because they fear the pain of loss. They think, what if I never find someone else? They think, what if I regret this? But here's the truth. The only thing worse than being alone is being with someone who makes you feel alone. The only thing worse than losing a relationship is losing yourself inside a relationship. When you learn to walk away, you also learn the ultimate lesson. You own nothing but yourself. No one belongs to you, and you belong to no one. Love is not possession, it's partnership. And partnerships only work when both people choose each other freely, without fear, without force. If someone stays only because they know you'll beg them not to leave, is that love? No, that's fear disguised as affection. That's control masquerading as care. Love should never require you to sacrifice your dignity. So how do you develop the strength to walk away? You build yourself first. You build a life so full, so meaningful, that the loss of a relationship does not break you. You focus on your health, your skills, your purpose. You become someone who values peace over drama, principles over feelings, growth over comfort. Because the truth is this, walking away will hurt. It will test you. It will make you question yourself. But pain is temporary. Regret lasts forever. And nothing is more regretful than looking back and realizing you stayed somewhere that killed your soul because you were too afraid to leave. The irony is this, when you are willing to walk away, you often don't have to. Because people sense it. They know you have boundaries. They know you are not afraid to enforce them. And boundaries create respect. Without boundaries, there is no respect. Without respect, there is no love, only control. So if you want real love, love that lasts, stop clinging. Stop begging. Stop fearing loss. Build yourself so strong that you can stand alone. Then, and only then, will you attract a love that matches your strength. Walking away is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength, because it means you choose yourself. It means you refuse to let fear dictate your life. It means you would rather be alone in peace than together in chaos. And that choice changes everything. That choice gives you power, not over others, but over yourself. And when you master yourself, you win in life and in love. Never forget this. People do not love desperation. They love certainty. They love confidence. They love strength. And nothing shows strength like calmly walking away when something no longer serves you. Do it with grace. Do it with silence. Do it without hate, without drama, without burning bridges. Leave because you respect yourself too much to stay. That kind of strength doesn't just attract love. It attracts respect, opportunities, abundance, everything that makes life rich. The power of walking away is the power of freedom. And freedom is the most attractive thing in the world. Most people spend their lives chasing what they think will make them happy: attention, approval, love. They run after it like a thirsty man in the desert chasing a mirage. But the truth is, the more you chase, the further it runs. Love, like happiness, cannot be hunted down. It is attracted. And what attracts love? Not neediness, not desperation, not constant pursuit. It is value. It is confidence. It is purpose. When you focus on becoming, not chasing, everything begins to change. Think about the men and women who seem to have an effortless pull. They are not texting 100 times. They are not begging for attention. They are not rearranging their lives for someone who barely notices them. They are focused on their mission. They are building. They are becoming. And because of that, people gravitate toward them. Why? Because value is magnetic. Confidence is magnetic. A person who knows where they are going in life does not need to chase anyone, because others will follow their direction naturally. The problem with chasing is that it reveals lack. When you chase, you are saying, "I need you to complete me." You are saying, "I am not enough on my own." And that energy pushes people away. It signals weakness, dependency, insecurity, all the things that destroy attraction. But when you shift your focus inward, when you start asking, "How can I become the best version of myself? How can I grow? How can I live a life I'm proud of?" You no longer feel the need to chase. You become the type of person others want to be around, not because you begged for it, but because you earned it. Becoming is about building. It's about creating something bigger than yourself. It could be your career, your fitness, your mindset, your spiritual life. Whatever it is, you pour your energy into growth, not approval. Because here's the truth: love follows value. And value is built through discipline, through effort, through sacrifice. You don't gain respect by sitting on the couch waiting for someone to validate you. You gain respect by waking up early, grinding on your goals, becoming a man or woman of substance. That's the foundation of confidence. And confidence is the foundation of attraction. Most people get this backward. They think, when I find love, I'll feel confident. When someone chooses me, I'll feel valuable. But that's an illusion. Confidence comes first. Value comes first. Love is the result, not the source. If you try to use love as a shortcut to self-worth, you will end up dependent, insecure, and disappointed. But when you build your life, when you create something that matters, when you invest in your own growth, you carry an energy that cannot be faked. People sense it. They see the discipline in your actions, the clarity in your direction, the strength in your character. That is what draws people in, not your words, not your pleas, not your need, but your being. Chasing drains you. Becoming builds you. Every hour you spend refreshing your messages, obsessing over someone who is not thinking about you, is an hour you could have spent building your body, your business, your mind. And here's the irony. The moment you stop chasing and start building, the attention you once begged for comes to you effortlessly. Not because you manipulated anyone, but because you became the kind of person people want to be around. Think of a man who spends his 20s running after every woman, desperate for love, wasting money, time, and energy just to feel chosen. Now think of another man who spends his 20s working on his health, his career, his vision, his character. 10 years later, which man do you think has options? Which man do you think commands respect? Which man do you think attracts quality relationships? The second man, without question. Why? Because he focused on becoming, not chasing. Neediness is loud. Value is silent. Neediness screams, "Look at me. Choose me." Value whispers, "I'm here, building, focused." And people notice. People always notice. You don't have to announce your growth. You don't have to beg for validation. Your results will speak for you. Your presence will speak for you. This is why purpose matters. Without purpose, you will always chase people to fill the void. Without a mission bigger than yourself, you will depend on someone else to give your life meaning. And that dependence kills attraction. Nobody wants to be someone else's entire reason for existing. That's too much weight for anyone to carry. But when you have a mission, when you are driven by something deeper, your craft, your health, your financial freedom, your self-mastery, you become complete on your own. And completeness is attractive. Love is not something you demand. It's something you deserve through who you are. And who you are is a result of what you do every single day. If you want love, stop thinking about love. Start thinking about discipline. Start thinking about consistency. Start thinking about how you spend your time, what you consume, what you create. Are you investing in yourself? Or are you wasting your life scrolling, chasing, begging for attention that won't matter in 5 years? Becoming means saying no, no to distractions, no to mediocrity, no to living for approval. It means doing the hard things, waking up early when everyone sleeps, hitting the gym when others watch Netflix, working on your side hustle when others party. It means reading books instead of drowning in social media. It means feeding your mind with wisdom instead of gossip. Because every small choice compounds into the person you become. And that person will either be strong, disciplined, and magnetic, or weak, needy, and forgettable. You cannot fake becoming. You cannot pretend to be someone of value. You have to earn it. And the beauty of this process is that once you focus on becoming, you stop caring about chasing. Because you realize something powerful, the love you were begging for, the validation you were desperate for, is nothing compared to the respect you feel when you master yourself. That feeling of pride, that inner confidence, is something no one can give you and no one can take away. The truth is, when you focus on becoming, you attract the right kind of love. Because when you live with purpose, you repel toxicity. You repel people who want to use you, who want to drain you, who only value you when you're begging. And you attract people who respect you, who admire your discipline, who see your worth without you screaming for it. That's real love. Love that comes naturally, not because you chased it, but because you earned it through the person you became. So stop asking, how do I make them love me? And start asking, how do I love myself enough to grow? Stop wondering why people don't choose you, and start choosing yourself every day through your habits, your actions, your standards. Because the world does not reward neediness, it rewards value. And value comes from becoming. Never forget this. Chasing leads to emptiness. Becoming leads to abundance. And abundance is the soil where real love grows. Begging is the death of attraction. It is the silent confession that says, I am not enough. When you beg for love, you hand over your power. You strip yourself of dignity and place your worth in the hands of someone else. And in that moment, you become weak, not because you lack feelings, but because you surrendered control of yourself. Love cannot grow in weakness. Love is born from strength, from freedom, from self-respect. When you beg, you trade all of that away for the illusion of security. Why does begging create weakness? Because begging comes from fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being wanted. Fear that without this person, you will be nothing. And fear never attracts love. It repels it. No one admires fear. No one respects desperation. People respect strength, calmness, certainty. People are drawn to those who know their worth, who can walk away if they are not valued. The more you beg, the more you show that you cannot walk away. And the moment you show that, the dynamic changes forever. Relationships thrive on mutual respect, not submission. The person who begs is saying, you are above me. I will do anything to keep you. That is not love. That is slavery. It turns passion into pity. It turns desire into tolerance. The more you lower yourself, the more you become invisible in the eyes of the one you want. They may stay for convenience, for guilt, for comfort, but never for love. Because real love cannot be forced, cannot be bought, cannot be begged for. Begging also destroys trust, not the trust between you and them, but the trust within yourself. Every time you beg, a part of you knows you're betraying your own worth. You feel it deep down. I shouldn't have to do this. I shouldn't have to prove my value like this. That inner voice gets quieter the more you ignore it, but it never disappears. And over time, you stop trusting yourself. You start thinking, maybe I really am nothing without them. Maybe this is all I deserve. That belief kills growth. It keeps you in chains. Here's the truth. Anyone who makes you feel like you have to beg for their love does not truly love you. And if you allow yourself to stay in that position, you are telling the world that your worth is negotiable, that your dignity has a price. But the reality is, dignity should never be sold. Self-respect should never be sacrificed for temporary affection. Because affection bought through begging is an illusion. It is not genuine. It does not last. Fear is at the root of begging. Fear of rejection. Fear of abandonment. Fear of starting over. And fear is the opposite of love. Love is free. Love is abundant. Love grows in the presence of courage, not fear. When you act from fear, you push love away. You smother it. You suffocate it. You turn something natural into something forced, something heavy, something both people resent. That is why so many relationships die the moment someone starts begging. It kills the energy, it kills the attraction, it kills the respect. If you have to beg, it's already broken. That truth is hard to swallow, but it's real. Begging is not a sign of deep love, it's a sign of deep insecurity. And insecurity is not attractive. The person you're begging for might not say it, but inside, they are losing respect for you. They might even start resenting you for making them responsible for your happiness. No one wants that weight. No one wants to feel trapped because they're afraid of hurting you. That is why begging does not save relationships. It destroys them faster. So why do people beg? Because they believe this is their last chance at love. They think, if I lose this person, I'll never find anyone else. That belief is a lie. The truth is, the more you cling, the more you push away what you're trying to hold on to. And the more you let go, the more you make space for something real, something healthy. Strength is attractive because it signals security. Weakness is repulsive because it signals instability. When you beg, you show that your emotions control you, that you cannot handle loss, that you will compromise your boundaries to avoid pain. And that makes people pull away, not because they are cruel, but because deep down, everyone wants a partner who can stand on their own, who can handle life, who can love without losing themselves. Love should never be a transaction where one person sacrifices everything and the other gives nothing. But that's what begging turns it into. You start apologizing for existing. You start saying yes when you want to say no. You start hiding your feelings just to keep the peace. And every time you do that, you chip away at who you are. Until one day, you look in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself anymore. You've lost your essence, your strength, your spark, all because you were afraid to lose someone else. But here's the reality. Fear is a liar. Fear tells you that losing them will break you. It won't. Fear tells you that you can't survive without them. You can. Fear tells you that begging will keep them. It won't. If someone is going to leave, they will leave no matter how much you beg. And if someone truly loves you, you won't have to beg. They will stay by choice, not by force. That is the difference between real love and fear-based attachment. What's the solution? Stop begging. Start building. Build yourself. Build your confidence. Build your life so strong, so full, so meaningful that you never feel the need to beg anyone to stay. Because when you value yourself, you set standards. And when you set standards, people either rise to meet them or they fall away. And that's a good thing. Because the people who fall away were never meant for you. Begging makes you think you're fighting for love. But you're not. You're fighting for control. You're fighting to keep something that's already slipping away. And that fight drains you. It makes you bitter. It makes you small. It makes you forget that love is supposed to be mutual, not forced. Real love feels light, not heavy. It feels free, not suffocating. It grows without begging. So remember this. Begging does not keep love, it kills it. Begging does not make you strong, it makes you weak. The strongest thing you can do when someone pulls away is to let them go with dignity. Because walking away takes courage. Walking away says, I love myself enough to not settle for half-hearted love. And that courage is what attracts real love in the future. Fear will always tempt you to beg. It will whisper, just send one more message. Just try one more time. But every time you do, you make fear stronger and yourself weaker. Choose strength. Choose silence. Choose yourself. Because the love you're begging for is not worth the price of your self-respect. You want love? Stop begging for it. Start becoming the person who doesn't need to beg. A person who knows their worth, who carries themselves with quiet confidence, who can love deeply without losing themselves. That's where real love begins. Not in fear, not in weakness, not in begging, but in strength. Real love is never one-sided. It is never about one person giving everything while the other takes without end. Love, when it is real, moves in both directions like the flow of breath, in and out, give and receive. When love is forced, when one person tries to drag the other along, it stops being love. It becomes a burden, a transaction, a desperate attempt to hold something that is slipping away. And the truth is, what is forced will always fade. What is free will always last. Love given freely is powerful because it is born from choice, not obligation. When two people choose each other, not out of fear, not out of need, but out of genuine respect and desire, that love becomes strong. It grows because it is rooted in freedom. And freedom is the foundation of every healthy relationship. Without freedom, there is only control. And control destroys connection. Think about the people you truly love in your life. You do not love them because they beg you to. You do not love them because they force you to. You love them because you want to. Because there is something in them that inspires your affection. Something that draws you closer without pressure. That is the nature of real love. It invites, it does not demand. It flows, it does not force. When love is not reciprocal, it is painful. One person invests all their energy, time, and emotion, while the other gives little or nothing. This imbalance creates resentment. The giver begins to feel unappreciated. The taker begins to feel trapped. Slowly, the relationship turns into a cycle of guilt and frustration. And the person who loves more begins to lose themselves. They start sacrificing their needs, their boundaries, their self-respect, just to keep the other person close. But that never works. Because no amount of giving can make someone love you if they don't choose to. Love that lasts is built on mutual respect. Respect for each other's time, feelings, and individuality. It is not about control or dependence. It is about two people walking side by side, not one dragging the other behind. If you have to beg, if you have to manipulate, if you have to force, then it is not love. It is fear dressed as love. And fear can never sustain something as pure as love. Many people confuse obsession or attachment with love. They think, if I hold on tighter, they will stay. If I give them everything, they will never leave. But that mindset turns love into a bargain. I give you everything. Now you owe me love in return. That is not real love. Real love expects nothing in return because it knows that love, to be real, must be a gift. And when love is truly a gift, it comes back to you naturally, without asking. When love is forced, it becomes heavy. The one being forced feels suffocated. They start avoiding, pulling back, creating distance. And the more they pull away, the more the other chases. It becomes a game of fear and control instead of connection and trust. This is why so many relationships collapse, not because of lack of effort, but because of imbalance. One person is trying too hard. The other isn't trying at all. The strongest love stories are not built on constant chasing. They are built on alignment, when two people meet halfway, without losing themselves in the process. Both give, both receive, both choose. That is what makes love beautiful. Not power, not control, not fear, but a quality of effort and depth of feeling. Love is not slavery. Love is not surrendering your entire self to someone who gives you crumbs of attention. Love is not begging for texts, calls, or time. That is not love. That is dependency. Dependency feels like love when you are afraid of being alone, but it is not the same. Dependency needs. Love shares. Dependency clings. Love holds loosely. Dependency says, I can't live without you. Love says, I want to live with you, but I can stand on my own. That is the difference. When you enter a relationship where love is not reciprocal, you are setting yourself up for pain. You are planting seeds in soil that cannot sustain growth. No matter how much you water it, nothing will bloom because the ground is dry. And instead of leaving, you keep pouring more of yourself, hoping one day they will change. But they rarely do, because love cannot be taught through pressure. Love awakens by choice, not by demand. Real love is a dance, not a tug of war. It is two people moving in harmony, not one person pulling the other across the floor. It requires rhythm, timing, and willingness on both sides. If one person refuses to move, the dance stops, and forcing them to move ruins the beauty of it. This is why real love feels light. It does not require constant convincing. It does not require endless proving. It simply flows because both hearts are willing. When you understand that real love is reciprocal, you stop chasing what isn't for you. You stop begging for attention from people who ignore you. You stop lowering your standards just to keep someone close. Instead, you wait for the one who meets you halfway. The one who calls because they want to, not because you reminded them. The one who chooses you, not because they need you, but because they value you. That is the essence of true love. Choice, not necessity. Forced love fades because it was never real. It was built on pressure, not passion. On fear, not freedom. And anything built on fear eventually collapses. Love cannot live in a place where one person feels trapped. Love needs space to breathe. It needs the freedom to choose every single day. That is why begging, manipulating, or forcing love always backfires. Because love and control cannot coexist. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you are the only one trying, step back. Look at the reality. Ask yourself, is this love or is this fear? Is this mutual or am I forcing something that does not exist? That awareness is the first step toward strength. Because strength is knowing when to hold on and when to let go. Strength is walking away from anything that requires you to lose your self-respect. Love is not about proving your worth. You are already worthy. The right person will see that without you having to beg. They will meet you where you are, and they will give as much as they take. That balance is what makes love sustainable. Without it, love becomes a burden, a game, a source of endless pain. Choose the kind of love that feels like freedom, not captivity. The kind of love where silence is peaceful, not heavy. The kind of love where effort flows naturally from both sides. Because that is the love that lasts. Everything else will fade, no matter how much you try to hold on. And here is the final truth. Real love is rare, but it is real. It does not require drama. It does not require begging. It does not require losing yourself to keep someone else. It simply exists between two people who choose each other every single day. Freely, fully, and equally. That is the love worth waiting for. That is the love that changes everything. Love is not something you beg for. It is something you allow. This simple truth is the foundation of strength and peace in relationships. Most people live in the opposite way. They try to control what cannot be controlled. They spend their energy chasing, forcing, manipulating, trying to hold on to someone who does not want to stay. And in the process, they lose themselves. They lose their dignity. They lose their inner peace. The Stoic way teaches us something profound. You cannot control the heart of another person, but you can control your own. You cannot force love, but you can master yourself. And that mastery, that inner strength, is what brings true peace. Not having someone stay, not getting what you want, but remaining calm and unshaken no matter what happens. When you detach, you do not stop caring. Detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. It is understanding that love must be free, that it cannot survive in chains. Detachment is loving fully without trying to possess. It is giving without expectation and walking away without hatred when something no longer serves your soul. This is strength. This is freedom. Most people suffer because they confuse love with ownership. They believe that if someone loves them, that person belongs to them. And when that illusion breaks, when the other person leaves, they feel shattered. But the truth is, nothing outside of you truly belongs to you. Not people, not possessions, not even life itself. The only thing you truly own is your mind, your choices, your actions. Everything else is borrowed. Everything else can be taken at any moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is not a call to fear, but a call to awareness. If life itself is not permanent, how can love be? And if love is not permanent, why cling so tightly? Why beg? Why suffer over something you never truly controlled in the first place? Detachment is power because it frees you from this illusion. It frees you from the chains of obsession and fear. When you practice detachment, you are no longer ruled by the actions of others. You no longer live in constant anxiety, waiting for a text, fearing rejection, dreading abandonment. Instead, you become grounded. You become whole within yourself. And from that wholeness, love becomes pure. The Stoics understood that peace comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling your response to it. You cannot stop people from leaving. You cannot make them love you. You cannot change their heart, but you can change how you handle it. You can choose not to beg. You can choose not to lose your self-respect. You can choose to love freely without trying to control the outcome. Most people love with chains. They say, I love you, but what they mean is, I need you. Don't leave me. Do what I want. That is not love. That is fear. Real love says, I love you, and you are free. Free to stay, free to go. Free to choose me every day without pressure. Because anything less than that is not love. It is control wearing the mask of love. Detachment does not kill passion. It purifies it. It removes the poison of obsession and leaves only what is real. When you detach, you no longer cling to someone for validation. You no longer need constant reassurance to feel worthy. You know your value. And when you know your value, you never beg for love, because you understand that love must come freely, or it is not worth having. The man who begs for love becomes a slave to it. He waits by the phone. He sends message after message. He compromises his boundaries. He sacrifices his self-respect. And still, he feels empty, because begging never creates love, only pity or irritation. The more he chases, the more the other person pulls away. Desperation repels what it seeks. But the man who practices detachment is different. He does not cling. He does not beg. He gives love freely, but he is not afraid to lose it. Because he understands that his peace does not depend on someone else's presence. He understands that happiness is an inside job. And that kind of man, calm, centered, self-controlled, is far more attractive than the one who loses himself for affection. When you are detached, you stop making decisions out of fear. You stop asking, what if they leave? And start asking, what if I lose myself by holding on? You realize that the worst thing is not being alone. The worst thing is abandoning yourself for someone who does not value you. And when you see this truth clearly, you start living differently. You start acting with dignity. You start loving with strength instead of weakness. Detachment also teaches gratitude. When you no longer cling, you begin to appreciate what you have without fearing its loss. You love fully in the moment because you know the moment is all you ever truly have. You stop living in the anxiety of forever and start living in the beauty of now. And that makes your love deeper, not shallower. The Stoics remind us, control yourself, not others. When you try to control others, you lose both them and yourself. But when you control yourself, you gain peace. And ironically, you become more magnetic, because strength attracts what weakness repels. People feel drawn to those who do not need them. Neediness suffocates. Self-sufficiency liberates. Detachment is the ultimate proof of strength. Anyone can love when it's easy, when everything goes their way. But only the strong can love without attachment, without fear, without begging. Only the strong can say, I love you, but I do not need to control you. I love you, but I will not lose myself to keep you. That is not just love, that is mastery. This is why detachment brings peace. Because peace does not come from having everything you want. Peace comes from accepting what is beyond your control and focusing on what is within your power. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices. That is all you can truly command. And when you live from that truth, no loss can break you. No rejection can destroy you. No person can enslave you. Love is beautiful, but love without detachment becomes a prison. It turns beauty into bondage, joy into suffering. Detachment keeps love pure because it keeps freedom alive. And freedom is the soil where love grows best. Anything else is control, and control kills what it tries to keep. So remember this: the one who clings suffers. The one who lets go lives in peace. The one who begs for love loses it. The one who gives love freely without attachment keeps it pure. Control yourself, not others. Master your mind, and you will master your life. Because real strength is not in holding on. It is in knowing you can let go and remain whole. Never beg for love. Live fully, and it will come naturally. Those words are more than advice. They are a principle, a way of life that separates the strong from the desperate, the fulfilled from the empty. Begging for love is a symptom of fear, and fear has no place in a life of strength and freedom. To beg is to say, I am not enough on my own. It is to surrender your dignity, your self-respect, your identity, in exchange for the illusion of acceptance. And in that moment, you lose something far greater than the love you're trying to hold on to. You lose yourself. Life is too short to live in chains of need. Too precious to waste chasing people who do not see your value. Too meaningful to reduce to the desperate pursuit of affection. The truth is simple. Love that must be begged for is not love at all. It is dependence. It is control. It is weakness dressed as passion. Real love flows naturally. It does not need force. It does not need manipulation. It does not need begging. It happens because two people choose each other freely, without pressure, without fear. When you live for love, you live in scarcity. When you live for yourself, your growth, your purpose, your strength, you live in abundance. Love then becomes a gift, not a requirement. It becomes something that adds to your life, not something that defines your life. The happiest people are not those who spend their days chasing relationships. They are those who spend their days building themselves. They cultivate their mind, their health, their skills, their character. They live in alignment with their values, and from that alignment, everything else flows. Imagine walking through life with complete inner peace, knowing that your worth does not depend on another person's approval. Imagine no longer waiting by the phone, no longer feeling anxious about being left, no longer sacrificing who you are to keep someone who does not want to stay. That is the freedom that comes when you stop begging for love and start living fully. That is the power that comes from self-mastery, from strength, from knowing that you are enough as you are. Begging for love is the behavior of someone who has forgotten their own value. It is the act of someone who believes happiness exists only in another person's hands. But happiness is an inside job. It cannot be given, only cultivated. No amount of validation will fill the void of a person who does not love themselves. You can receive all the attention in the world and still feel empty, because real fulfillment does not come from being wanted. It comes from being whole. This is why the first step to freedom is turning inward. Stop asking, how can I make them love me? And start asking, how can I become someone I love? Build a life that excites you. Build habits that make you proud. Build a mind that can handle silence without fear. When you do that, something incredible happens. You stop chasing and you start attracting. You become magnetic, not because you need someone, but because you are complete without them. People are drawn to strength, to confidence, to peace. They are drawn to those who do not cling, who do not beg, who do not lose themselves for love. Because that kind of person is rare. Most people live in fear. Fear of being alone, fear of rejection, fear of loss. But when you live without fear, when you live free, you stand apart. You show the world that love is not a cage, but a choice. And choices made in freedom are the only ones that last. Living fully means you no longer waste your time on those who cannot see your value. You no longer bend until you break just to earn crumbs of affection. You no longer lower your standards to feel wanted. Instead, you raise yourself. You focus on growth. You focus on becoming so strong, so fulfilled, so at peace, that whether love comes or goes, your life remains full. Freedom is power, and power is attractive. Not the power to control others, but the power to control yourself. The power to walk away when something no longer serves you. The power to say no to toxic relationships, to shallow validation, to situations that drain your soul. When you own that power, you stop fearing love, and that is when love finds you. Not because you begged, but because you became someone worth choosing. Think about it. What kind of love do you want? The kind that comes out of desperation, or the kind that comes out of respect? Do you want someone to stay because they feel sorry for you, or because they truly want to be with you? Begging may keep someone for a while, but it will never create real love. Real love cannot grow in the soil of need. It needs space. It needs freedom. It needs two people who choose each other, not because they have to, but because they want to. So live in such a way that you never need to beg. Live with purpose. Live with strength. Live in a way that makes your presence a privilege, not something that depends on approval. Walk through life knowing that your worth is not up for debate. If someone cannot see it, that is not your problem. That is their limitation. Do not shrink to fit their vision. Do not beg to fit their standards. Stand tall in your own truth, and let the world adjust. There is a peace that comes when you finally stop chasing what is not yours. When you stop running after those who keep walking away. When you stop putting your heart in hands that cannot hold it. That peace is priceless. And it is yours the moment you decide, I will never beg for love again. I will never lose myself to keep someone. I will live free. Freedom does not mean isolation. It does not mean rejecting love. It means loving without chains. It means giving without fear and receiving without dependence. It means understanding that love is beautiful, but it is not everything. Your purpose, your growth, your strength, that is everything. Because those things remain even when people leave. And people will leave. Life will change. Nothing is permanent. But the self you build, the character you shape, that is yours forever. So choose today. Choose freedom over fear. Choose dignity over desperation. Choose self-mastery over self-abandonment. And watch how life changes. Watch how love comes. Not because you begged, not because you chased, but because you lived fully and attracted what you deserved. The final truth is this: begging for love is weakness. Living free is strength. And strength is what makes life worth living. So focus on yourself. Build strength. Build value. Build a life so complete that love becomes the cherry on top, not the foundation. Because the foundation is you. Always has been. Always will be. Never beg for love. Live fully, and it will come naturally.